Ugh, this water is disgusting. Must be a bad filter. Well, within Jira, there's also bad filters. Today we're going to talk about filters within Jira.
Let's start with the basics of what actually JQuil is, because it actually feeds into these filters. A filter consists of JQuil, or Jira Query Language, and really important to understand that JQuil is known as a clause. One query is known as a clause. And what does this clause consist of? It consists of a field, operator, and a value. If you have all three of those, you can technically have a clause, which would then allow you to actually make this command, make this query within Jira. As you can see here, you can get more complex queries and more complex clauses here. And for your purposes though, and I'm going to provide you in the description below in the video, just so you can have this as reference, but Jira actually makes this a lot easier now. There's a UI that you can go through that actually does this in the background. So we'll go over in the next video. I'm still going to give you this just because you can have this in case that UI doesn't fit your use case, but really just know that we're going to go use the UI first, and then if the UI doesn't work, you'll have your cheat sheet to kind of figure out how to bridge the gap. So today we're talking about filters. What are filters and how can you use them? Well, filters help you narrow down some of the issues, some of the ticket types within Jira, just like those filters in those water bottles. We're taking out the particulates, we're taking out the contaminants, and we're only getting what we really want to see, really want to view, because there could be a lot of information in Jira, a lot of data, information overload. We want to only see a select few. So to get to here, again, this is a team managed project. Just want to emphasize on that. Left-hand side is issue. Click on issues. You'll come into this view. Keep in mind, there's multiple ways to actually get here, or actually look at filters, edit it. There's another one at the top here, but we'll go through that a different way later in this video. The first thing I want to do is this front page here. This is a user story. You can see here some of the fields that we have. We can add comments on here. There's also some more fields here that we can look at. You also can move this pane over to left, over right, depending on if you're sharing your screen. You might want to have it a little bit bigger or a little bit smaller, making sure that people can see your screen while you're in a Zoom call or you're in some kind of video call. This is the first portion I want to mention, the currently viewed story. You can see here I have selected TMS 8 here. I can go to TMS 7. You can see here I have the viewing pane changed of the current selected story. And so again, filters. This is where we want to reduce the number of data or issue types to view. Let's go through some of the options we have on this screen for filters. First of all, we have this left navigation pane. This is where we can change, from key, created, and we can sort, right? Again, to kind of do some little bit of sorting here. Really though, the biggest value for the filter is actually this top here. Again, you can search like almost on every single view here in Jira, but really the value comes in this top bar here. What project is it in? Team managed project, that looks good. What ticket type is it? Maybe I only want to look at bugs. You can take a look at bugs. Perfect, there's only one bug. Maybe I want to go back to stories and bugs. Maybe I want to select both of these. Now let's go to status. Maybe only things that are actually we'll still have to do in progress. Maybe I'll put backlog in here as well. So I don't want to see anything that's already done. Assignee, maybe I'll put only assignee me. Perfect. You can see I'm really filtering. I'm really taking out the stuff I don't want to see. There's only 2 issues left. There's also more ways you can filter these issue types. Here's a reporter. I'm going to set reporter is current user. I'm adding another filter here for those 2 tickets. Looks like they're still both reported by me. You can see now we have a lot less than what we started with. We only got 2. It makes it a lot easier to go through, allows you to navigate. But this is where the real value comes into is now you have this. We can go and actually save this filter. Maybe I want to save it for later. As we are having these discussions, we can save it. You can add a name here, new name, description. viewers, who wants to view this. You can do it by project, by group, by organization. You can make it private. It's really up to you of who you want to view. Most value you can get is my organization, and you add. We'll go over that later, why that's important. Editors, I only want myself. I don't want anybody else to edit it. And I'm gonna put save. Now I save my filter. And keep in mind, this is actually where I think it gives you a really good option, even if you don't know that much about filters or JQuil, which is Jira's query language, because in the backend, that's what it's doing, is you have an option here to switch. Basic JQuil, I'm gonna go to JQuil. You can see here, it actually gives me the full JQuil that's happening in the background. This is really important, especially when you get more advanced, you want to tailor it more. You can actually modify this, you can edit this. Also, this is good for dashboards or for other types of views you want to look at. It gives you this filter so you can copy and paste in there, or if you want to change it a little bit, really important that you can actually see this as well. I think it's really high value that shows you this, at least to me. You also can get different views. List view, now I'm looking at a different, more information here in a smaller space. Again, that's up to you, user preference. And then you also can share this filter with someone. Maybe someone was looking for some type of bugs or issues. Hey, you can send it to them. Export issues. You can export these issues on an Excel, a Word, other items. We won't go on this in this video, but that'll be for a future video. And then go to advanced search. I'm gonna click on here because I said I promised you that we're gonna go into this filters tab another way. This is another way into that. You can see this is more of an advanced view, right? There's a lot more options on the left-hand side that are already pre-designed. You also can edit this and again switch back to basic. There's a lot of options here. Again, you get the same export options, same share, etc. You also can filter it by different columns as well. Keep that in mind, there's a lot of value here in filters, and this is why it's so important. And now that I talked about saving this for organization, this is where it's important because you don't want to reinvent the wheel for your organization. And if you're having the permissions only selected to you, this is where you can be maybe hurting the rest of the organization by not showing that, because they can reuse your filters as well as you can reuse others. If you go to this top tab here and you go to view all filters, you can see here I have 2 filters that I can view. Remember, this is where you select those permissions. So if I don't have permissions to view that, there's no way I'm gonna see the filters that are created. You can see here, this is the one I put for my organization. This is where you can get that value back to your organization by allowing others to use your filters, because you would want to actually use their filters if it was a value of you. Keep that in mind when you select those permissions. That's the highest value. Give a filter, take a filter. That's kind of the idea here, at least to add the most value back to your whole organization. I want to hear from all of you. What are your favorite filters? And put that in the comments below. What kind of things does your team find valuable? Please in the comments, love to discuss.